We're going to be doing some wild lines. You know what that is, Sal? Wild lines means we're just going to talk to each other, but we don't have a script. So
Nice.
they're going to record what we say, and then they're going to sync it into the project. Wild lines. Okay?
That's wild.
Welcome to the Just Sayin podcast. I'm Sal, your pal, and we're here with an old guest from one of my original podcasts, Tony Marrone. Just give you a little backstory. He is former Hamilton Tiger Cat, an actor. He played a role on an Elias Atlantis short called Mob Stories that premiered on, was it History?
Yeah, it was a History Channel. Yeah, it was a docudrama on the life and times of Paul Volpe, who was a New York-made mafiosi who ran the markets in Toronto, the underworld, and the unions, and he was in construction. And I did his life and times, and it was one of my bigger roles to date.
So you say acting's your
I stumbled into acting. Yeah, I stumbled into acting. It kind of called me. I knew there was a talent in me. I remember starring in a grade 8 play that we put on in front of the kids in grade school, and it got great laughs, and everybody was quite impressed with the performance. When I first had a realization that even though I was quite nervous, I found out that once the skit began, I was a natural. So it's something that in my life I've kind of called it my hobby job for a lot of years. I never really found the sense in myself to really make it a career, but I'm at a crossroads at this stage where a lot of people at my age tend to hit a midlife crisis where they really want to do something with their lives.
So you want to talk about what you've been up to lately since we've last spoke?
Yeah, certainly. The last 6 months have been quite life altering for me. I really had a lot of life altering events happen to me in the last 6 months. I decided in July that I would try to run for city council here in Hamilton, and I believe that that decision has really kind of given me a whole new insight into what life's all about.
You kind of talked about that a bit on the last podcast too, where you said you were looking forward to running for ward.
I looked at the idea of being in politics as a sense of serving the public, and being it being an honorable vocation, and I thought it might help my children in their lives in a lot of ways. We're being able to help them in different ways. But I came to realize that as I began to, meet different people on the trail of a politician, that, it was very difficult for me to feel comfortable trying to explain to people things that weren't really heartfelt in the sense of, what I knew about the job and the whole political process. And so, I came to realize that I wasn't following my heart's dream. I was just thinking of it as a job. And the reality is, I've been blessed with some unique talents, and one of them is that I've come to realize is my ability to, portray different individuals in the acting world, in the sense of being comfortable on camera and having a unique voice. So I've decided through my process of trying something, I wasn't fully committed to really becoming that person. I just thought, I need to, with the rest of my life, do something I love to do, something I think of it as a dream life, to be, a paid professional in the entertainment industry. And so I'm really concentrating my efforts and focusing all of my energy into, putting myself back in front of the camera and doing some projects that, I feel comfortable doing.
Right on. I know a lot of people deal with that too, trying to figure out, what you want to do with life. There's a saying where it says, not a lot of people get to do what they love to do as like a daily job, but it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of self-realizing moments too, where you have to just kind of understand yourself, who you are.
Yeah, you have to come to grips with what do you really want, and I think that's the first step to what we call success, is actually finding and figuring out what it is you really want to do, and it all starts with an idea. So after this election process, I did horribly in the election.
Oh, I think
comparatively,
everyone I knew voted for you.
Well, it was, I got, I don't know. I think I might have got 5% of the vote, which is pretty bad.
Only like a certain section of Hamilton could vote for you, though.
Yeah, well, the reality was, I did not do well at all. And because of the sense of my own sense of understanding that I didn't really want this, I was basically doing something I thought would be good for the people around me, but not really something I wanted to do. And it sent me into a very deep depression. And so I, in the sense of rehabilitating myself, I decided that I needed to be somewhere out of my environment. A lot of rehabilitation takes place when you have the opportunity to leave your environment, because now you're somewhere that you're not used to doing the same things, you're not used to thinking the same things, you're in a different place, you're in a different world. So I am fortunate enough to have very good friends in my life who helped me to rehabilitate myself, and they one of my best friends stepped up, one of my old football colleagues from university, who's done very well in a lot of ways and aspects of life. He offered to help me, and he lent me some money to rehabilitate myself and get out of the country. So I spent 9 weeks on the Pacific, about 100 yards from the Pacific, in Playa Hermosa in Costa Rica. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I started exercising. I was near the ocean, which is just this energy of the world. You just see it, and it's just one of the most gorgeous places on the planet. And be in that environment, I could recalibrate my life and really come to a place of understanding that what, if I really want something, I can have it. And I knew that I've already experienced it in life as an athlete and as a coach after I stopped being an athlete. But I realized that when I was striving to be a professional athlete, a lot of people were naysayers. Oh, you're too small, you're too slow. But I never for once thought that I was not going to make it. It never entered my mind ever that I wasn't good enough or didn't have the ability to play at the level that what they call professional football, and that's where I ended up.
The thought of failure never really passed your mind.
No, the thought of failure, I never doubted me for a second. I knew I was good. I knew I was good, and I knew that I worked hard at what I was doing. I did not take my career as an athlete lightly. I spent countless hours, lifting weights and dedicating my life, and actually, eliminating relationships because they were taxing on my psyche. I made a complete focus of what I wanted to do, and as you age, you tend to lose your desire, and this is when you become goalless. Is when you start depression can set in, when you're aimlessly kind of just living a 9-to-5 life, doing a job that's basically it's a redundant work. You're not utilizing your talents. In your instance, you're not making film. You're not dealing in ideas. You're not working in what you're gifted at. For the rest of your life. And now after you've done it for 20, 30 years, you're walking to work and doing the same job, and you're saying, so what am I doing here?
Yeah, that's true.
This is not what my gifts are. It's not what my talents are. Anybody can do what I do. True, and so understanding that and coming to the place where if you want to do something, I believe, and I'm sure the universe will agree, that if you have enough desire and faith and passion, and trust. Well, you have to trust too. You have to have a sense of trust in what you're trying to do, and faith in the sense that you have the ability to do it. Another thing, that if you have a dream, you wouldn't be dreaming about it if you didn't really believe you could do it.
That's true.
Your dreams are not going to come to you out of the blue. I'm not going to start dreaming, I want to be a brain surgeon. Where I've never, had any medical training, never gone to university for medicine.
Just pop in your head.
I wouldn't know, I'm going to be a brain surgeon. Well, that's not, how can I believe that dream? Something inside my head is going to say, look, you're not a brain surgeon. Okay, look, you got a good voice.
Yeah.
You can sing like Dean Martin and Nat King Cole. You got a presence on camera. You've got something to work with as an entertainer, in my sense of looking at myself. Realizing that these are my talents that I have, that I can now dream about them. And so I've decided to dream big, and I'm coming up with a pilot. I want to shoot a pilot. And I'm hoping you're going to be part of the project.
Oh, I would love to.
Come on.
Hey, you got a match?
Hey, not since Superman died.
Oh, snap.
Couldn't resist. A lot of times when you have a a dream. Sharing the dream cannot be such a good idea. In the sense where a lot of people, individuals, will have their own opinion. Basically what you find is you get a lot of negative energy coming towards your positive idea. So keeping the idea, you know, in a small no, to me is good. I mean, me telling you about it is fine. Because in that sense, I'm hoping to keep you involved in the sense that we're in the same business. And you're from a technical end, but you know, you're behind the camera, I'm in front of the camera, we're in the same business. If I'm looking to recruit people, that's when I want to bring it out with people that I think are going to want to jump on board. I don't want to just share it with everyone in the sense where
you don't want people to steal the idea too.
Not only that, I can't worry about that.
Yeah, true.
I mean, to me, it's me. I'm the product. It's not the idea. Can deliver. You know, it's my product. It's what I'm doing. Exactly. And so coming to understand me and knowing that character that I envision, I started to really, you know, do all those things that the law of attraction demands. So I started visualizing myself living in a life where I've already made it. I'm already the star of that show that's on a syndicated network and it's being played worldwide. I start to visualize myself in that lifestyle where now I'm doing this show. This is my life. This show is now my life. So this is kind of where you need to kind of realize that if you really, really want anything, that your desire and your will and your faith and your belief and your visualization of you doing that idea will come to pass. It's the law of the universe. Everyone who dreams and wants and desires something is going to come to them. You often look at people and say, how did that person get there? So you're watching the Family Feud, and there's this man running this thing. Now, what was that guy doing 20 years ago? Because I never saw him anywhere before. How did that guy come out of nowhere? Or Rodney Dangerfield was another guy. You might not have heard of Rodney, but this guy started his career at 50. He started doing stand-up comedy and became a movie star, became an icon. He had a shtick that he just believed in, and he went out and out of nowhere became this celebrity. You know, it's basically the sense that that person who is the celebrity has never doubted that that's what he was going to be.
Did you ever see the video of I don't know what the Family Feud guy's name is, but he actually did like an interview of like him backstage where he's like, okay guys, here's the thing. Every successful person once had to make a jump. Basically, he used the analogy of jumping off a cliff. Like everyone had to put themselves at a risk.
That's right.
Everyone like trusted in themselves and believed in themselves.
Without question, you have to have a sense of determination and desire, and not be afraid what anybody says. Not be afraid of anything. You have to be fearless. Because, you know, especially if you're doing something public, you know, it's not like, okay, you want to invent some, you know, you're some kind of scientist that's working in a lab. You're talking about doing something in the public. You know, there's a lot that comes with that. You know, there's that whole thing of now I'm not walking to the store and nobody knows who I am. I'm walking to the store and everybody's looking at me now. Oh, that's that guy on. That's him. Stressful or what? And to think, we all have to live with this every day. To me, traffic alone is reason enough to treat yourself to an Ultramatic bed.
Do you still get recognized for your Ultramatic bed
commercials? No, I think the Ultramatic Bed Company has gone out of business.
Oh, that sucks.
And so I don't believe there's, you know, my face is out there anymore in the last, I don't know, maybe 5 years.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know it was
quite a cult following.
Yeah, it was quite a run there. I didn't know how to take it as flattery or what. But
how old were you when you did those Ultramatic bed commercials?
I guess that was around 2000, from 2000 and up. So I would have been, you know, just turning 40, my late 30s, something like that.
I'm an old-fashioned guy.
Yeah. Well, actually, I had my last girlfriend just saw that commercial and said, I have to have him. And she somehow met me in church, but that was how.
So she used the law of attraction.
Yeah, she used the law of attraction. Just seeing the commercial, that was it. And then Hey, we were together for about 7 years. What a nightmare that was. Holy cow. No, I'm just kidding.
She doesn't hear this. Or...
No, I'm just kidding. It was quite an education, having someone with that kind of mind to really kind of spend time with. You learn a lot from people in life, and she was somebody taught me quite a bit about a lot of things. And a lot of what she taught me about was my own personal health, in the sense where, trying to get out of depression isn't the easiest thing. And what I did was, when I went to Costa Rica, I was quite depressed after that election, and I had put on an inordinate amount of weight. I had put on about 30 pounds from my normal weight, 35 pounds.
That fat or muscle?
No, it was all definitely all, induced by just bad habits. And so, I had to do something. And when I got to Costa Rica, I had been there before for 9 weeks, so I knew where I was. I used to go for a walk through the mountains.
That must have been nice, yeah.
Yeah, so when the first time I took the walk, there was a road that's cut through the mountains that I'd walk on. And it was about 6K walk, and when I got there, it took me an hour and 20 minutes to finish the walk. Well, by the time I left, it took me 47. So it was 33 minutes off my time, and I lost 33 pounds. And I believe the whole idea of getting yourself physically active and physically fit, it's probably the greatest, the most important thing you can do to stave off depression is being physically active, just moving your body and moving it to a pace where it's starting to affect the pace of your breathing.
Yeah.
It's not just going
Speed
for a
walking,
really slow walk. You have to move your body fast enough to get it because depression is like this. Everything moves slow in depression.
Like
when you're depressed,
stuck in mud or something.
Yeah. When you're depressed, you're shuffling your feet. You're doing that. So when you want to kill depression, just get out and be overactive, not just active. Because especially we as we age, in our 50s now, my age bracket, so it's like I go for a walk. Well, going for a walk, it depends. Like I can go for a walk and walk for miles if I'm walking, at a snail pace. It might take me a long time, but that's really not the answer. The answer is really moving. How are you? You're having to catch your breath a little bit, getting your body moving at a pace where it's pushing your body.
I'm sure in Costa Rica, I'm sure the air was probably really nice.
I was 100 yards from the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, nice.
And the beach was a kilometer long, maybe a little longer, maybe 1,200 meters. And so the beautiful beach in a cove with mountains falling in. So I would swim across it.
That's awesome.
Twice a week, and I would walk it back and forth, 3 times a day, and then I'd take my walk every day, the 6K walk into the mountains every morning.
Wow.
So, I got on a routine where, I really, watched my diet, worked hard at what I was doing, tried to get better every time I did it. When I came back, I just had a whole new sense of direction, and
you felt rejuvenated.
And what happened was my energy now is like crazy. Like I just got all this energy. Like I really want to go. I really want to do everything I'm trying to do. And at my age, it's very unusual. I just feel good. And I think feeling good is like contagious. It's something that when you walk in a room, you stand out because you feel good. And so I think feeling good is kind of the important thing to really attaining anything. If you're not feeling good about what you're doing, you're not feeling good about yourself. You don't look in the mirror and say, "Oh wow, you look good." Yeah, when you do that, you feel good. You look in the mirror and say, "Oh my God, look at you." Come on, seriously, is that you? Is this what you look like now?
Yeah.
And so. I've always had a good work ethic physically. I've always been very athletic, been blessed athletically, and I've never really let go of it to the degree where, I couldn't get it back. I've always kept being athletic a part of my lifestyle. And to a degree, I've let it go. Obviously, when you put 30 pounds on, you let go of the ideal.
Yeah.
So coming back to it is really rejuvenated in the sense that now I've also started to train my mind in a better way, listening to some of the forefathers of self-help. Earl Nightingale, for instance.
You showed me that.
Earl Nightingale's become like a new mentor for me. I have to get a daily dose of Earl. I love his voice. I love what he says. He's so well read. You know, he articulates with an expansive vocabulary. So you're learning new words listening to him, and he's he definitely hits the nail on the head, because the strangest secret is what he calls it.
Yeah.
That if you really want something and you really believe in it and you are determined to make it happen, and nothing is going to stop you, it's going to happen.
Right
on, so it seems simple when you talk about it. It seems like, whoa, geez, that sounds so easy.
Hey, just think about it.
But what happens is, and what you'll find happening in life, is that your surroundings and people around you have a way of taking you out of your zone.
Yeah.
Because they're not in it. If you're dealing with the general public, a lot of people are just doing the same thing every day. They're quite robotic. They're not living their dreams.
Yeah, so then they're upset. They're depressed
there's something not, they're not running on all cylinders. They're not using their capacities to their advantage. They're just surviving. They're living life basically how they were taught, that money doesn't grow on trees. You can't have this. Just be happy you have a job. Oh, thank God I have a job. I just wish I had a job. They're not even thinking that they might have great talents that are, just sitting dormant. They're not looking into their own sense of what do they really want to do. People can't figure it out. And so when you expose yourself, when you're in a vein, you have to be very careful to other people's energies. Because they can pull you out of your own sense of harmony, your own sense of peace. Very difficult balancing act when you're surrounded. The old saying is, it's hard to soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys.
It's true.
Bigger than life. That's why I bought the big cigar. Bigger than life. I don't want to ruffle any of these delicate people's feathers. That's one thing you got to learn in this business. You got to be very patient. Patience is a virtue. I tell a close friend about my pilot idea, my whole, and the first thing he says is, so what's your contingency plan? So in other words, if this doesn't work, what are you thinking of doing?
Yeah, what's plan B?
Yeah, what's plan B?
Yeah.
Seriously? Like I want to tell somebody else what I'm going to do?
Yeah, you step by step.
This is my close buddy, right? And the other guy, my other close buddy says, when I told him basically along the same lines, do you really think you can make that happen?
So like they don't believe in you or something?
Well, it's kind of like in the sense where it's like, in my sense, I've come up with these before, but I've never really felt any sense of focused direction to what I really wanted to do.
Right on.
I never thought of it, I'm going to do this to hell or high water. I never said, I am going to do this. I just said, you know what I think I might want to do? What I think I might want to do. So if you listen to the words, what is it telling you? It's not saying this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you think you want to think about.
I tell people about one of the most fabulous stories of my life when it comes to this whole ideal. And I'll reiterate it to you. And it goes back to my days as a coach. A high school football coach when I quit playing for the Argonauts at the time. I was with the Tiger Cats and the Argos, and I quit playing and I started coaching. And I had become a fabulous coach, a championship coach. I never coached a team that didn't go to a championship. In 1991, I took over the St. Mary's High School senior football team. We went to the championship that year and lost in the last minute of the game. We should have won that game. So in 92, I had the team. Now, I had lost a lot of my key elements, but I still had a core of kids that I had already touched. And I got some more kids. And I had 27 kids on this football team. Now, you play football with 24 guys. And I had 27 kids on the team. And we started the season with 1 win and 2 losses. And I noticed that I'd come to go coach a practice, and I didn't have enough people to practice. You need 24 people for everyone to practice. You need 12 on offense, 12 on defense. I gave that team a speech. I said, here's the deal. If I get out of my car and there's not a guy here at practice that should be at practice, I'm getting in my car and leaving, and we'll just play the games on Friday. We know enough already. If you want to quit on the season, I'm ready to quit too. Well, those kids all started coming to practice. And then a tragedy bestruck that team. We had someone die. A close member of the team died. It was my older brother. We decided as a team that we weren't going to lose again. And so the season went on, and we got into the playoff, and we were playing Cathedral, and Cathedral went up 14-0 in the playoff game. And the captain came up and he said, Coach, what's going on? And I told him, here's what's going to happen. We're going to take the ball, we're going to score, we're going to take the ball, we're going to score, we're going to take the ball, we're going to score.
That's good coaching.
Good coaching, right? Well, it happened. We took the ball and scored. We took the ball and scored. We took the ball and scored. We went at halftime. They kicked off at halftime. We took the punt all the way, the kick all the way back, and we scored again. And they were lost. We had beat them. The next game we were playing, it was 8-8 with a minute left, and the other team had the ball in our 10-yard line. And we were ready to lose the game, and I called a timeout. And the defense ran to me over onto the sideline. I said, look, they're going to fumble. Right now, they're going to fumble. And they fumbled, and we got the ball back. And we killed them in overtime. We won that game. And then the same thing happened the next game. We were losing 21-20. And I told the coach, I go, they're going to fumble. And they fumbled, and we got it. And we went down the field and scored again. And then in the GHAC final, playing against Assumption, the quarterback went to throw a pass on the other team, and I hit the coach and said, we're going to pick it off. And we picked it off, and we went down the field and kicked the field goal on the last play of the game, and we won the GHAC championship.
Wow.
And you know how that all happened, Sal?
You're psychic?
Because I knew and I believed in what I just finished talking about.
That's amazing. Yeah, a lot. Like
I knew it.
Yeah.
The only way that happened, like that other team had 60 guys on the bench. And the team before it had 50 guys. And the team before it had 50 guys. And the team before it had 50 guys. These were powerhouse schools we beat. Cathedral, Bishop Ryan, Barton, Assumption. Powerhouse high schools. And we were like this little David and Goliath beating these giant mammoths.
Just with 24 guys?
With 20. We had 8 guys play both ways.
Wow.
We only used 16 of the 27. 11 guys were just like bags. They were just bodies. They didn't have the ability to compete at that level. We used the best that we had, and the rest that they were practice guys. That we couldn't have did it without them. They were just as important to our success as the guys on the field. The reality was I had a belief, I had a faith, and I had a dream that team was going to never lose. In honor of my brother, which they wore a patch on their shoulder was saying Wolf, which was his nickname. His name was Nino. Everyone called him Wolf. And they wore this patch over their heart. And the 6 captains were the pallbearers. And I said, we are not going to lose. And I could swear it was Wolf making them fumble from upstairs. But I certainly believed and came to understand that in your own sense of really, really wanting something, this is the problem. That people don't know what they really, really want. Then nobody knows. They just think, oh, I just want a job. But that's not what you really, really want, is it, Sal?
Yeah, it's true.
Like you really, knowing you really want to be making movies, doing things with what you love to do. This is what you love doing. You know, I've seen what you've done. I've seen your talent. So when does that seed take root in some soil of belief? Because that's what the soil is. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your talent. And so I believe that I've been gifted. And I don't have a great singing voice because I just have one. I've been singing for 35 years. Only very few people have heard me. You know, I didn't start singing yet. I've been singing to myself, to my children, to anyone that wanted to hear a song sung. Sure, I'll sing you a song. I can pick one out at any time. Should I sing you a song, Sal? Should we close?
If you want it, yeah.
Yeah, let's close the podcast with a song. Are we ready to? Is that enough time, or did you want to go further?
Oh, do you want to talk about more about who you met in Costa Rica?
Well, I mean, basically who I met, there was nobody really to meet other than meeting myself. Yeah, I met me.
Okay.
That's a great question, Sal, because what I did while I left is I met me.
You knew more about yourself.
I met me.
Yeah.
You know, I went there to be alone. I went there to meet myself.
No cell phones, no Facebook?
No, I FaceTime the odd time, once a week maybe.
All right. Yeah,
you know, internet surf maybe an hour a night at the end of my day.
That's not enough.
And no TV. No TV.
No TV, oof.
A little music.
What are you going to do?
And just the sound of the ocean.
Wow.
Sal, if you've been around the ocean...
Oh, yeah.
I'm not talking about the lake.
Okay. I know what you mean.
You've never been near the ocean. The ocean is a beast.
Lake Huron.
No, lake, please.
No,
please.
Lake Huron's connected to the ocean.
No.
Okay, I don't know. Never mind.
Sal, the ocean is...
No, Hudson Bay is what I said. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
It's connected to the ocean. No, I haven't met.
Yeah, you haven't met. No. If you haven't met the Pacific, you know, once you meet the Pacific, you don't need TV. It's for me anyway.
True.
That's just me. Like, I just love the power of nature, and there's nothing more powerful than the current of the ocean. Just watching the ocean, being near the ocean, having ocean air. The point I wanted to make to you, Sal, again, was that if you want anything in life, you got to come to know what you want. So meeting yourself. Spending time alone without anything to stimulate your mind is the only way you're going to meet yourself. So you can spend all day alone in front of a computer and you'll never meet yourself, or in front of and playing a game, and you can spend the whole day alone. You're never meeting yourself. Your mind is always external.
Yeah, you're distracting yourself.
So coming into yourself and being in a place where you can meet you and just be with you, and figure out what should I do? What do I really want? And then what happens is you just become overwhelmed with the sense of, now that you feel like, because you believe it, because you believe you can do it, you believe you deserve it, you believe you have the talent to do it, you know it's going to happen. There's no doubt in you. Other people are going to throw things at you, but really the idea is you.
Exactly.
So when you come, that's what that's a great question. Who did you meet in Costa Rica? I met myself face to face, and
that's awesome.
And myself had said to me that you can do this, you're going to do this, and this is going to be big. And I'm not looking at the show as being something little. I'm looking at it being big. I want this show big. I want it all over the world show. I don't want it on Cable 14 or CHCH. I want this big.
Bigger than that, yeah.
So this is where I've, kind of sent my energy. And so now that I've done that, things start happening, Sal. Good things start happening.
Yeah, positivity.
Interviews go well, people call back, things start getting done. I'm not really kind of keen on doing other people's work. The reality is I want to do something big. And to do something big, you need to have the title of the property. It's got to be something you're doing.
Exactly.
So this is where I'm at, and we're in a position where you're now helping me along my path.
Oh, yeah. Anything I can do to help.
I'm going to leave you with a little tune.
You going to sing us a song?
Yeah, I'm going to sing you a little Mills Brothers tune.
Yeah, the last podcast you sang out, and it was actually pretty. It was pretty good.
Well, this is one of my new favorites. It's kind of a bit of a sad song.
It'll work.
But it's got this beautiful feel to it. It's called Music, Maestro, Please. And it goes like this. Tonight, I mustn't think of her. Music, Maestro, please.
Just saying.
Tonight I must forget.
And subscribe.
How much I need her.
You need to subscribe.
So, Mr. Leader, play your lilting melody. Ragtime, jazz time, swing. Oh, any old thing to help me ease the pain that solitude can bring. She used to love waltzes, so please don't play a waltz. and she danced so divinely.
I'm gonna fall asleep right now.
Though I love her so, but there I go tonight. I mustn't think of her, no more memories. Swing now, tonight I must forget. Music, Maestro, please. That is my bedtime lullaby to my grandchildren.
Amazing. And you know, a lot of people listen to podcasts to fall asleep, and that'll put them to sleep. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on the show, Tony. That was great.
Sal.
Thanks for
having me.
I love the inspirational stuff.
There you go, Sal.
I'm gonna go follow my dreams now.
Hey, that's the whole idea. So if I can do that, I've done.
Just saying.
I've done a great service.